have seen the madness that I got in my head. Oh Lord, please help me to get out of this place. Oh Lord, please guide me to the road of no pain. I see in my head I have danced with the devil. I was shaking his hand. He promised me freedom, but instead leaves me dead. Oh Lord, please help me to forget what I said. Oh Lord, please guide me to get out of this
Hey, good afternoon. How are you all doing? Who we got in the house? Lauren, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I got the tea ready. Happy Friday to everyone. I hope you enjoyed the bit of music I sent your way. Nice and rocky bit of music. Let me have a swig of coffee. Hey, 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 how are you doing? Good to have you on YouTube Live. Yet again, I've totally changed the concept. Well, I haven't. I've changed the timing because I was aiming to do it between 4 and 5, and it just didn't happen, and it hasn't happened for 4 days in a row. Hey, Friday. So now it's going to happen. I think I'm going to be set for between 5 and 6. Okay, it's going to happen. It seems to be a natural time. We've just made it before 6 o'clock. It's the way it's going to be. Anyway, nice of you to join us. Thank you very much, guys. What are we talking about today? I'm totally ill prepared for this one. I tell you what I've been doing. I've been doing some photo editing today, so I thought I might share a little bit of that and show some photographs that I've been doing. But yesterday we had a great chat with, who did we have? We had Carol on board, we had Robert on board, we had Patrick right at the end came in, which was really good. We had people, loads of people from all over, which was really good and nice and fun. And everybody was talking about, I don't know whether you call it, Lauren, everybody was talking about inspiration and where we get our inspiration from. And I was talking about going down and doing some photographs in Dunkirk, which was very good. Or it wasn't in Dunkirk, actually. It was the 75th anniversary of Dunkirk. I'm just looking out my window and what has happened to the summer? I don't know where you are, Lauren, but whoever else is watching out there, the UK, it's just like autumn has arrived. We had some lovely, beautiful, beautiful summer that was rocking around. Let me just straighten that up for you. Really, really good. It's my first time. I'm happy to be here. Hey, this is really good. Let me just empty my pockets. I have no idea what I've got in here. I've got some mints. What else have I got? Oh, yeah, I don't want those. Right, that's better. I feel relaxed now. So, yeah, it's the summer's absolutely pants today. It started off so well. Really, really nice morning this morning. Nashville. Hey, Nashville, what a great place. I've never, ever been there, but I would love to go there. It's really good. Am I really low today? I'm going to sit a bit closer. It's a bit better. Hot out there, I'd imagine, huh? Well, we're lucky if we're touching 20 down here at the moment in the UK. Really rubbish. We almost. I think we got to about 31 about 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago rather, and then it's just kind of gone really bad ever since then. So I'm really hoping, considering the rest of Europe is in a really hot spell at the moment, I'm really hoping the hot weather will come back. But hey ho, this is autumn. This is summertime in the UK. You can't guarantee on a thing. So I tell you what I was going to do. Talking about the weekends coming up, Friday, and leading on from yesterday, we were talking about inspiration and getting out there with the camera. So I tell you what, if you want to take part in this, you can. I've come up with a lovely idea as my little notelet. Do you like my little notelet I set up each time? My little note there said, you know, coffee and thinking equals great ideas. So I have had a great idea. And if you want to take part, just spilling my coffee everywhere. Hang on 2 seconds. Did you hear that? That's better, thank you. Yeah, coffee and thinking. It's great ideas, absolutely. So my idea is that I reckon I'm going to set everybody a challenge. If you're up for it, I want to set everybody that watches this video for a weekend challenge. Okay, your weekend challenge is starting as soon as this program finishes, which could be in the next 2 minutes if I spill more coffee down me, or it could be it could be in about an hour. I have no idea because it depends how much I can talk for. So your weekend topic is, it's a photography challenge, okay? Photography or painting challenge, a creative challenge. Let's broaden this out, right out over there. It can be, if you're an artist, I want to see some doodles and some art. I want to see some painting. I want to see some abstract art. I want to see photography. I want to see maybe even a little iPhone movie. I don't care what it is. I want to set a challenge starting when this broadcast finishes, and the challenge is, let's pick a subject, let's go for it. Right, Lauren's in. She's just said she's in with it. Brilliant. So it's me and you, Lauren, so far. Hopefully we'll get some more people joining us. So this weekend's challenge, okay, it's going to finish, let's have it finish, all being well, I'm going to broadcast on Sunday evening. So we'll go up to Sunday evening when I broadcast, which hopefully will be between about 5 and 6. So that kind of gives everybody, 48 hours to do something. And I want everybody to create a piece of art or a photograph. Let's keep it quite vague for the first one. And I haven't thought anything more about this than just the initial idea. Let's keep it. I want you to send us a piece of creative artwork or photograph that sums up your weekend the best. You know, it could be you went out for a mountain bike ride, you rode a horse through a jungle, you went climbing trees, you went skinny dipping in a lake. I don't know, keep it clean, no? You could do some, I don't know, you went to an event. I know that some of my followers are really into their photography and they like going to car events. I go to car events and have no idea what I'm looking at other than a car. But it makes nice pictures. So you could do something like that. That's for you, Robert, out there. You know who you are. Yeah, that could be for you. I've got an interesting event coming up on Sunday. I kind of hinted at it yesterday. All being well, this event will happen and I will be going. So that is my kind of go-to photograph that I'm going to do. So what I think we could do is, I've no idea how you're going to get these to me. I think that probably the best thing for you to do is go and share them on my Facebook page, which is Scott Ramsey UK. Go and search for me out there. Best place to find me. Actually, let me show you. See if this works, because this new bit of software that I'm working is a treat. It's a treat, I tell you, to use. Now, you're either going to get my YouTube live dashboard up. Let's just flick through this very quickly. Oh, no, it worked. Hey, it worked. Celebration. It's a happy Friday. Okay, so the best place to find me is my website. And this is my website here. Okay, scottramsey.co.uk. It's in my profile. Okay, look, there's me with a shorter beard. Anyway, look, and what you're going to do is you're going to go all the way down to the bottom here. I tell you what, I can push it out on my little notice here as well. Look, www, hold on, Scott Ramsey. I'm going to type. modern technology, isn't this? There we go. Look, you've got a little direct link to it there. And if you go down, well, firstly, if you're bored, you could have a cup of tea and look at some of my photographs that I've taken and some of the stories I've covered, which you will find in the blog there. Some lovely photographs from Cornwall that I took, which I'm really pleased about. But what I'm doing is scrolling right to the bottom of the page. And right down the bottom of the page, you will see these nice little icons here, which you can't see my cursor over for some obscure reason. But anyway, down there you've got a Facebook link right there that will take you to my Facebook page. And you've also got my Twitter and everything else. James, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Scott, a bit easier for me on here than on Periscope. Nice to have you on board, buddy. Really good to catch up. Giving you a subscribe. Thank you very much, buddy. And likewise, I will track you down and look at your YouTube if you've got some stuff on there. So, James, I don't know whether you've just heard, we've just set up a challenge for the weekend, and I know you love your photography. I'm very good, thank you. We've got Lauren in here from all the way from Nashville, if she's still with us, so that is good. And I think there's somebody else hiding in the lurking in the background there as well. So we've just set a photo challenge for the weekend. It starts when this finishes, and it's going to be the best piece of creative artwork, whether it be a photograph or a video, that sums up your weekend. And then you're going to share it to me on my Facebook page. We'll do it like that this time and see whether that works. If it all goes pants, then we won't. Gotta love a look. You've got to love a look. That's my new catchphrase. You gotta love a looker. So really good. There we go. You can see my page here and you can find me. And I've just put a little message out to everybody telling you where you can go. So that is how you're going to get the photographs to me. Let's go back to me. Let's see if this works. I'm still getting to grips with this OBS software. Main camera and screen. That's me. Okay, that's good. That's rather exciting. Excellent. Slurp my coffee. So that is the challenge. So come on then, everybody that's already watching. Challenge accepted. Excellent. So has anybody got any plans? I was telling you about my plans for the weekend. My weekend plans are, I've got a big event. How can I explain this? In fact, I was talking to Glenn over, I think his name's Glenn actually. I'm not sure what his, I normally say hello to him using his username. So if he's watching, I forgive you. But out in Vietnam, he's one of my followers. Actually, we were having a chat on Facebook this morning. And he was telling me about his amazing city and how he loves photography. And I believe he teaches English out there. And one day, when I'm rich and famous, I'm going to go over there and scope and do YouTube channels and vlogs and stuff and go and take some amazing photographs and meet up with him and buy him a cup of coffee. And he's going to show me all around Saigon, which will be absolutely amazing. So anyway, we were talking about that, and that's kind of why I got the idea of doing a photo challenge, because it's kind of nice, isn't it, to kind of have a reason to go out and do some pictures, because sometimes you just need that bit of inspiration. I was just looking at my new shelves. Do you like my new shelves? This is a floating shelf. I put this up. It's quite good. I'm going to have some more actually, just along there in my little office. It's amazing that it's straight and it's still up, but it's working well. So that is your challenge. Think about an event. I mean, you don't even have to leave your home. Maybe you've got a really busy weekend and all you're doing is working or cleaning or staying in bed. Heck, I don't mind as long as it's clean and tasteful. And then what I could do is maybe pick if I'm inundated with thousands of people's photographs, then I will pick a few. If I've only got mine and somebody else's, then I'll show you mine and that other person's. And then maybe we can put them up on, see if I can put them up and show people and give a photo critique. How about that? With my many years experience as a photographer, and I'm going to be tough on you guys. It's not going to be easy. You know, it's going to be like I'm going to be you know, what's this going on? This is not good enough. You should have done something else. So it's going to be your best photograph, okay? This is how it's going to work. I've just thought of something else as well. If you can't get on Facebook or you're not on Facebook, you can always tweet it to me. Okay, so just add me in, tweet the photograph out and put @SRPics on there. So there's loads of ways of getting it to me. So that sounds good. Okay, hold up. Challenge open to skinny dipping or being in bed all weekend. What have I stumbled into? I tell you what you stumbled into. You stumbled into a very tired Scott who's on his second cup of coffee in the last half an hour, and he's trying to think out creatively. Car show? I mentioned a car show, Lauren. You can go and do a car show. I like to joke. So, no, that's fine. I love to joke as well, so it's absolutely fine. Yeah, just keep it clean. Keep it clean. Tweeting here, thank you, James. I look forward to that, buddy. I still haven't made it. So James is down in Hastings, and I still haven't made it all the way down into Hastings. It's not that I haven't contacted you, James. I just literally haven't been to Hastings since we said probably over a year ago, I'm going to come to Hastings and meet up and buy you a coffee. So I will get down there sometime, I promise. Now, look, I tell you what I was going to do. I'm going to slow down and drink another cup of coffee, or swig anyway. Straighten my moustache. I tell you what I'm going to do. I thought I could try if this works. I had a little bit of a problem setting this up. Thank you, Lauren. I tell you what, I've set this up and I had a little bit. My technical expert, who's my son Max, who knows a lot about everything, and unlike me, who knows very little apart from photography and talking an awful lot, set this up for me. So I'm hoping you are going to be able to join me on Lightroom when I flick this button over. If it doesn't work, it's going to be a really short broadcast today. But hopefully you're going to go over to Lightroom with me and you're going to be able to see some of the photographs I took when I was in Spain. And I did some scopes down there on Periscope. I don't think I did a YouTube live. I did loads of vlogs actually, which I really have to edit. But work has come first, which is always a bit of a problem. Let me just adjust my seat and get ready. And I thought you can watch me editing. So if you're interested in yourself, let's try this. Here we go, guys. Hold on to your hats. 3, 2, 1. It worked. That's good. Oh, look, you can now see my cursor. That was really odd. You couldn't see my cursor when I was doing the web thing. Oh, well, you can see my cursor. That's very, very good. So let me give you a little bit of the background of what I'm showing you, I guess. These are some photographs I took actually last year. I go out to Spain quite frequently at the moment because my mum lives out there, which is really good. Have to find you on Periscope. Yeah, please do. I tell you what I can do on my Twitter and my Periscope. Actually, while everybody's watching, it is SRPIX, and that is on Twitter and Perry. Let's do that. So there we go. You've got the username there. You can track me down. So I went out to Spain. I've been back since then, but these are kind of sat on my hard drive. I tell you what, when you're a full-time photographer and you're doing something that doesn't feel like work most of the time because, I just love it. And I'm always taking pictures. So what happens is I take an awful lot of photographs, and in the last few years, a lot of video as well, and kind of download them, get back off a holiday or whatever, have thousands of photographs to edit. They sit on the hard drive and go, when I've got a little bit more time, I'm going to edit those. So today was the day I started editing some of those photographs because they're no good on their hard drive and I need to be sharing them with the world. So you guys can critique them and tell me whether they're any good. So these photographs were taken in Spain. This is when I went out there, and this is Valencia, which is absolutely beautiful, beautiful city. Let's just pick some images. And what I thought I was going to do was kind of show you how I was wandering around the city taking... None of these are edited, by the way. They are totally raw images. I've just literally thrown them into Lightroom from my hard drive. And I thought to myself, okay, it's about time these get edited. Excuse me. So I got a bit of indigestion today, so apologies, everybody. Not that you needed to know that. Far too much information. Anyway, not to worry. So it was the first time I'd been to Valencia, and it's beautiful, a lovely old city. We really lucked out, actually. I went with my girlfriend. The idea was we were going to spend 2 or 3 days there and then travelled down to see my mum, who was a long bit for a couple of, well, it was about 3 hours away from there where she lives. I tell a lie, I'd been to Valencia before, but we kind of did the touristy thing and we only had a few hours there because we kind of drove in and drove all the way back out again. So now we'd lucked out because we'd stayed in this beautiful hostel right in the city, part of the old city. I tell you what, it was like a 5-star hotel. This hostel was absolutely amazing. No, we didn't have to share the room with anybody else. You know, we paid that few more euros to get a room to ourselves. But I tell you what, it was as cheap as chips, as they say, and it was an amazing room, massive room, right in the old city, and it was perfect because I'm a little bit of a early riser at times, and especially when I say on assignment, because even when I'm on holiday, I'm kind of on assignment because I'm normally doing stuff because I get a bit bored sitting around at the swimming pool or whatever. So I've got to be doing stuff. So I'm up early in the morning and the girlfriend kind of stays in bed. I'm up at silly o'clock, wander off for a little bit, come back, we have breakfast, then we spend a few hours together and what have you and wander around the city. So I just went out. I think this was probably day one, maybe day two actually. I was up early, beautiful weather as you can imagine, and just strolling around the city, looking for photographs, just exploring. So these, I think I'm right in saying I've chosen the best. So what I normally do when I've got a hard drive full of images, I normally download everything, back everything up, which we will talk about another time. I'm going to talk about my backup method and my the way that I've discovered to be safe with all your images and not lose them in essence. So we're going to talk about online backup and we're going to talk about hard drives. So when you do that in another episode for you. But we'll choose one of these images and see whether we can kind of get it looking absolutely amazing. So I shoot in RAW. Everything is shot in RAW. Wide angle lens. I travel quite light. Did you hear my stomach then? I apologise, I'm hungry. Travelling quite light. I don't think I took any long lenses with me just because it was on board planes and stuff like that. So I had, I know I had my little 50, my nifty 50, as one of my Periscope followers says, Sean, out in America. Nifty 50, beautiful, beautiful lens. In fact, I can show it to you. Hold on 2 seconds. Let me show you this because I want to overload you with loads of stuff. Let's just go back to me. Oh, let's grab the camera. Nifty 50, beautiful, beautiful lens. This is, unless I'm mistaken, 1.4. If you can only afford one lens, okay, get that lens. Yeah? Because lenses and equipment are so expensive. Just go and get one of those lenses, okay? Beautiful, small, compact. You don't stand out like you're a member of the paparazzi when you're walking around with it. It's just ideal. All right? I mean, I love wide-angle lenses. Don't get me wrong. I love the perspective of a really wide-angle, a 24 or even wider lens. But this, right, go-to lens. You could travel the world. Oh, so I use Nikon, but you can get 50, whatever you want. But this particular one is very good. You could travel the world with that, okay? It can be done. No problem at all. Let's go back to the images. You could also travel the world with an iPhone, if I'm completely honest with you, because the quality is absolutely stunning on there. And then you really are mingling in with everybody else because you look like a tourist and you can get those. Because photography has changed, sometimes now it's difficult to disappear into a crowd. And with an iPhone or an Android phone, you could just disappear in the crowd and get beautiful pictures. So I'm wandering around. I'd done a little bit of research on the city, kind of done the typical kind of looking on Google and Googling stuff. And I knew that there was these beautiful towers in the center of the city that you can see here. So there's hardly anybody around, very quiet. Few people are rushing to work. It's getting busier around me. This is the old market. It's a lovely building. I did a scope from inside there actually, which is really nice. Let me just scroll along. I'm going to find an image that I'm going to work on. Let's see if we can find something here. Okay, here's a good shot. I don't know whether actually, well, I say it's a good shot. I don't know whether I've got a decent shot of this. Okay, let me show you this. So I guess you call this street photography. I don't like labeling photography, if I'm completely honest with you. I really don't like labeling it. Photography to me is storytelling photography. My style is this, you know. Sometimes I've said it before. Sometimes I'm shooting a landscape photograph. Sometimes I'm shooting a portrait of a CEO or a director of a multi-million-pound company, and another time I'm photographing. I'm doing street photography, you know, and wandering around with one camera around my neck. And another time I'm doing, you know, a commission for a small business that makes cupcakes or something similar, and they want to do some promo stuff. You know, you don't need to label it. People say, well, what do you specialise in? Oh, I specialise in telling stories. That's what I do. So I'm wandering through Valencia, and they've got this beautiful road that runs, very, very long road. The temperature's rising, it's getting nice and warm, and I can see this lovely light that's coming through the buildings, early morning light, and I'm thinking there's a nice picture here. And I talked about it a little bit yesterday, where you sometimes work on an image and you stay with it, and you keep looking at an image or a situation, and you're almost kind of wanting people to come into the shop. Or a person, well, an animal or a car or something. Or you're waiting for the light, or you're waiting for the positioning of something to happen. So these are the kind of shots that I've done. I'm trying, you can see I'm experimenting. First shot, let's do it like this. First shot, people coming across the pedestrian crossing, quite nice. Very dignified older lady with, I guess, a friend or maybe her daughter. I don't know. No idea. I didn't stop and chat to them. I like that shot. It could be a nice one to edit up. You can see my method now. I'm thinking maybe a car might work, but clearly a car hasn't worked. It's just doesn't grab me. Put it like that. Very clear shot again. It reminds me of an advertising photograph. It could be of use. You know, it could be a good stock image for something. If you're a graphic designer, we've got loads of space in the bottom right or the bottom half of the photograph that you could easily put some text or something across. So, you know, I'm always thinking, you know, there's a difference between my photograph and maybe an image that I might sell or an image that I might put on the blog or tell a story. It always changes. Today, I'm looking for my image. Okay, I'm not looking for a stock image. I'm not looking for an editorial image. I'm looking for my image. So these were shot all on the, unless I'm mistaken, let's have a little look. Oh, it's not there. No, I'm pretty darn sure it was taken on the 50mm. The guy delivering some newspapers doesn't work at all for me. I can see what I was trying to do, but didn't time it particularly well, so we won't bother with that. That's better. I would have preferred more of his silhouette, or his shadow rather, just here. This guy is too distracting. Let me use the cursor to show you. So this shadow is nice just along here. This guy is not working for me. Imagine if this guy was totally out of the shot. That would make a nice image. And if I'd got the full shadow in the image, that would be even better. So won't bother. I kind of like that. I don't know why. Sometimes I can't describe it. I guess because this guy's looking down. It's possible, even though I've still got this guy in the shot. The composition's just changed slightly. The angle of the photograph's just changed slightly. Still haven't got this full shadow, but I can see potential in that, even though there's not a lot in it. I kind of like that one. Okay, we got the third. Doesn't do it for me. So we go with that one. Let's see if we can edit. So I've got a choice. Got the ladies with the glare. Boom, put a P on that one to flag it up. Or pick it. Not bothered, not bothered, not bothered, not bothered. I like that one. I think I'm going to go with that one. The other one, I'm not too sure. Okay, so let's not do that. So 90% of my photographs, I've said it before, I say it again, 90, even not higher, 95, 98% of my edits that I will do in Lightroom, okay? Back in the day when Lightroom and Photoshop first came out, and I'm not being sponsored by Adobe, it was really expensive to buy Photoshop, hundreds and hundreds of pounds, hundreds of dollars, and then they would upgrade it a year later and you have to spend another couple £100. It was really expensive. Now they license it to us, which is absolutely great, and you can get Photoshop and Lightroom for a very small amount of money, really, in the technology and the software, power of the software you are getting. So these were shot on the D800. They're big files. But let's do a little edit. I usually have this full screen, but I can't do that because I'm sharing it with you. So we'll just see how it goes a little bit. This is my way of editing a photograph, okay? Let me just put that out there. Everybody edits photographs in a totally different way, okay? This is the way I do it. You could watch this and go, do you know what? Oh, look, he's not looking at the histogram. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. You know, why hasn't he done that? This is the way I do it, okay? So, I would go in Lightroom, you're in develop mode. You can't quite see it at the top here, but we're in develop mode, okay? Loaded the image in, and the first thing that I would probably do is hit auto. Oh, no. And I'm going to see what happens with the image. Goodness me. There's a big shock out there in the photography world that a photographer has actually hit automatic on the setting of a bit of software. Shock, horror. The reason why I hit automatic is sometimes, believe it or not, Adobe and other software companies work really hard to get that auto setting working perfectly well. And sometimes you'll be amazed how good a job it does on your image. Okay, and it makes you see other things that you haven't seen. So it's a starting point. Okay, another time, let me just bring this in here and bring that one over there and bring it back. Another time, I would just do it myself and I would start from scratch. Remember, it's an unprocessed image. The fact that it's a raw, everything is flat and it's got loads of information in there. But what I would normally do is start with that. Now straight away, as I'm looking at that image, to me at this precise moment in time, it looks like it's far too contrasty, and I can notice on the settings here, it's whacked that contrast up. I don't want that contrast whacked right up. I want that a little bit lower. So we're going to bring that a little bit down a little bit. But I do like what it's just done, and it's just brought those in there. So now I'm just going to work on the image. Now, remember what the key thing of this image is, okay? The key thing of this image is the beautiful light that's coming through here. So there's a fine line between keeping that beautiful light in the shot, all right, and keeping these guys or these ladies. You know, they're just adding to the picture. Really, what's inspired me about this image, and you kind of got to think back on why you took the photograph, is this image here. It was all about the lights. So I'm going to start and think about concentrating on this section here. It's not going to burn out too much. We obviously do not want to do that, and we don't want to do that, okay? Because even though it was a long time ago when I took this image, believe it or not, I normally remember exactly where I am when I've taken an image and what I was feeling at the time. It's just one of those things. I can't remember people's names, but I can remember where I took an image. And I can remember how beautifully warm it was, and I just had a lovely cup of coffee about 10 minutes before taking this picture. So we'll watch the shadows just a little bit. Now what we're going to do is just zoom in a little bit. Now, what we are going to do is check it's sharp, okay? And thankfully it is, otherwise I would have embarrassed myself, because you don't want to be working on an image if it's not. But having said that, okay, I've said it before, sometimes don't get too paranoid about how sharp an image is, okay? got, you know, photography is a fluid thing. It's about feeling an image. It's about the image. It can be blurry. It doesn't have to be pin sharp. Okay. If these ladies, they are pin sharp. Brilliant. I did a brilliant job. Autofocus. Yes, I use autofocus. It works. It's fine. If they weren't, and there was a bit of movement in their hands, or there was a little bit off a little bit, you can still go with it, as long as they weren't drastically out of focus. So it's good. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do now is bring down here. I don't touch any sharpening or anything at this point, okay? To me, let's zoom back in. Sorry for flicking back and forth on this one. That image is darn sharp as it is. So I don't need to add anything to that. But what I will do is just put a bit of noise reduction in there. So I'm just going to tweak that up just a little bit. It varies on every image. Now, I have a habit of shooting stuff at high ISO, especially if I'm working quickly. And I could see the grain in that image. Let's see if we can go a little bit tighter there. I could see the grain in the image. Again, don't get too paranoid about it. Or the noise. Somebody corrected me on paranoid. The noise, Scott. It's not called grain. It's called noise. Well, call me old school. I call it grain. There's, you know, noise is slightly different. I call noise when you're getting the lovely, you know, odd colour effects down here and stuff like that. But, you know, that's just me. So going to tweak that a little bit, but let's not go over the top again, okay? You don't want this to look like a computer-generated photograph that's been so heavily photoshopped, it's unrealistic, okay? It's not a billboard poster. I want to still keep the feel of it, you know? So a little bit of noise on there. I don't normally whack it up too much. What I normally also do, which is a lovely little tool just here, forget that you're over here. Lovely little tool called this, Remove Chromatic Aberration. There, do it. Okay, and if you've got any nasty artifacts that are dotted around, which when you're shooting wide open on a lens you normally do get some, it will get rid of them for you. Will certainly make a good stab at doing it for you, okay? You can enable I won't even go into that. Enable profile corrections. You can pop that in there. But you know what? That looks absolutely fine to me. Trust your own eye. You know, the more you do, the more you learn. Now, when I used to edit photographs and pre-digital cameras, yes, I am that old, folks. Remember, digital cameras haven't been around that long, really, in the grand scheme of things. I remember the first digital camera when it came out, but that's another story altogether. When I used to edit photographs in the darkroom, what you would do, and I was taught by one of the best photographers in the world, who was my dad, and he taught me how to process images. There's a lovely little technique of what you do is you just bring in the corners of an image, okay? You bring in the corners of the image and you just darken them down a little bit. Remember, when you're processing images, you're using your hands and you're, contrast, putting the light through there, making it a little bit darker, bringing up the shadows, or you're holding it back a little bit, warming up the developer and stuff like that. So really, that's all I'm going to try and recreate, or that's certainly what I do, is recreate in Photoshop. In Adobe Lightroom. I got there in the end. So scroll all the way down there and you have this lovely little tool here, and you can just allows you to bring those edges in a little bit. Don't overdo it. I won't look at your screen, I'll look at my screen, because just bring those corners in a little bit. You can change the midpoint you see here. Let's go really dark and you can see it. See? Ugh, horrible. So you want to keep it, I want to keep that quite wide, and I want to put a nice feather on there. You see? No feather. Nice feather on there. So if I was processing that in a dark room, what I'm aiming for is, I'm aiming to do that around the image for starters. And then we're going to bring out parts of the image as well, because I can see they've now gone too dark. But it's just giving me a nice curve. It's got a little, it's starting to get a little bit of a feel in the image. So we're going to leave that. All this could be tweaked a little bit later on. Okay, so with this little doodie up here, we've got a little brush, and we can independently, it's already set on a exposure. So we're going to play around with exposure, okay, and we're just going to lighten sections of the photograph up. It's very subtle. I don't know how well you're going to be able to pick that up, but if I zinc it right up for you, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Oh, I just thought of a really top tip when you're editing photographs, okay? Really top tip is sometimes overdo it and then bring it back again. That's the beauty of working in digital, okay? So when you're editing a photograph, sometimes you can, look, okay, overdo the highlights or the exposure on a particular segment of the photograph that you've chosen to work on, and then bring it back down again. And sometimes that's easier, yeah? And you can, because when you're working on images for a long time, you've got to make sure that you're still, what's the word I'm looking for? Complacent. You don't get complacent with the image, and your concentration levels change. Every image is going to be a masterpiece, and you've got to work on that. So I've just brought up this corner here, just a fraction. I'm still not sure. I'm tempted to just do a little bit of finer detail work in there, but I'm not too sure. We'll keep going. So I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm just going to put, I've got a nice big feather on this, okay? I'm just going to do the same here. So this is my exposure. It's 0.19 up on there, okay? Just going to bring that in slightly. Maybe just a little bit detail here. I'm lightening that corner here because I want the image to walk, I want them, I almost want the people to carry on walking towards you, okay? So again, the reason why I've brought in and darkened down the edges is because I'm isolating them a little bit, you see, and it's drawing your eye. That's what I'm doing, drawing the viewer's eye. Let's have a little go here. So I'm just going to put that down to 0 just for a second, and then what I'm going to try and do is just, I feel the need to just bring this corner in here a little bit. So all I'm doing is, I've got a nice little mask tool there, so you can see this is the area that I've selected here. And what I'm going to do is just bring that down just a little bit, okay? Just a fraction down. I'll probably do all this and then we'll look at the original image. You go, he hasn't changed it at all. But you just got to work sometimes on it. Let's just have a look. I'm tempted just to bring these ladies up a little bit. So I'm going to go in nice and tight, and we're going to be... Look, she's not even, I don't think she's even looking at me. I don't often like, if I'm doing street photography stuff, I don't like people looking at the camera. And I don't think she is. So I was clearly quick enough to do this. So let's just drop that right down. You've got, but this is really tricky because you've got to, let's put the mask on. And I think what I'm probably end up going to doing is deciding I'm not going to like it, but so we're just going to bring that all the way down here. Hi Carol, how you doing? How's that painting coming along? I hope it's good. We've set up a challenge. I don't think you were watching at the beginning. We set up a challenge to do. So watch this back to the beginning, and we've got a little challenge for the weekend, which I hope you'll like to join in. You could do one of your paintings or something, a little bit of inspiration for everybody. I'll tell you right at the end so I don't bore everybody even more than I'm already doing. Okay, so what I've done is I've just, okay, let's bring that back out a little bit and then bring that back out and I can show you. Go away. There you go. So you can see the area I've selected. I've kept the feather quite wide as well. There's a lot of feather on that, and I just want to, again, if I was in the dark room, I'll be maybe just putting a little bit, I'll be putting a little bit. This is what I'm doing. I'm shining the light into this section of the image just to bring those people up a little bit. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not 100% sure whether it needs it, but we're going to give it a go and see what happens. Let's bring this back a little bit to there. Oh yeah, it'll be good. So we're just going to take this off. I might actually just bring that in a fraction. Isn't it always the way? It's right in between of where I want it. Never mind, we'll do it from here. So I'll crank it right over to the other side, okay? You can see the area that I've chosen, yeah? So it's a very small amount. I don't want to overdo it. You know, we've all seen those images on Photoshop, or those images that have been over Photoshopped, yeah? And it's horrendous. You've got to really watch it. It's such a subtle thing. Again, I want to keep this light in here. So let's zoom in a little fraction. So what you can actually do is, oh, you see how I haven't brought this tool further enough over here, so if her face is just in shadows, just still a little bit. Okay, let's see whether I've done it enough. Hardly see any difference. There's hardly anything in it. It's very, very slight. Don't know whether you guys can pick that up. So before and after is just a fraction. It's minute. Yeah, I haven't noticed that. Yeah, you're in Spain. Let's go here. Okay, I'm liking it. Next thing we're going to do is we're just going to go over to here, and we're going to go here, and we're going to check the image very quickly for any rubbish. I use the polite word. Any rubbish that is on the sensor of your camera. Okay, it's the biggest bugbear of using digital cameras. Mind you, it used to be horrendous when you used to scratch the film when you brought it out of the developer. I say used to, I would imagine there's people out there still developing stuff because it's all come back into rage, but you used to scratch the film or get marks on the film when you're doing your film processing. So all I'm going to do is just check the image that we haven't got any nasty black spots anywhere. Lightroom has this very nice little tool here where you can visualize spots on there. It's not ideal for that one. It's much better if you've got a clear sky and you can see it. But so I just double check that. If we had any, then I would just use the clone tool and get rid of those. That's the only thing I will clone on an image, is to get rid of that. So it's all looking good to me. Okay, so to me that's a nice color image. I'm still gonna go a little bit brighter on there just to zing it up a little bit. I'm just going to pop that clarity up a little bit as well. Clarity is a nice little tool. Again, don't overwork it. It just gives, it's not contrast. So Carol's just said ace perspective with the light and the pavement. Thank you very much, Carol. I appreciate it. Clarity is a nice little tool. Don't overwork it. It just brings a little bit of zing into a photograph. It just sharpens it up. It doesn't sharpen it up. It's not contrast either. It's a mystery thing that does, but it just gives it a little bit. You know what? It gives a little bit of punch to an image. Wow, I think it's going to rain any second now. Really black clouds out there. So not too much. I'm just going to bring those highlights back down just a little fraction because I still want to hold on to the detail in that area here. And then what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to bring the edges in a little bit more. Excuse me. Okay, so that is my image. So I've only worked on the raw image. Does it add pixels? No, it doesn't, Carol. If you're asking about the clarity thing, no, it doesn't add any pixels at all. It just plays around with the contrast and all that kind of stuff. In fact, I read somewhere when they first introduced it, it doesn't alter the contrast at all. But in theory, it's kind of like adding the contrast to it. It just kind of zings everything up there. But there is a big difference. There is a difference between contrast and using the clarity tool. It just makes the image, you know, just that bit. I'm going to say sharper, but it doesn't. It's just one of those things. I don't know what the real definition it is. You've got to remember, or I'll remind everybody that I'm a working photographer, okay? And I never studied photography. I learned from another photographer. I've been a working photographer for 30 years. And you kind of learn on the job, and zings, there we go, I like that. Carol says she likes the word zing. Exactly, zing. You'll get a lot of people on YouTube and everywhere that will know the ins and outs of everything to do with Photoshop and Lightroom, and they will know all the terminology, and they've read the manuals 100 times. I use the tools that I know that does the job because I'm working, yeah? I want the image to look the best it can possibly be in the shortest amount of time, all right? Because time is money, and even when I'm not being paid, I haven't got a lot of the time. So that makes sense? So very rarely, unfortunately, and I should make more time for it, I don't have a lot of time to sit down with a manual and look at stuff. I can tend to just get on with it and give it a go. So this is over the years I've kind of learned to do this. So what I normally do now, if anybody else has got Lightroom, if you haven't, you might find this a little bit boring, but I literally just make a copy of this photograph, okay? So I create a virtual copy of it, okay? And all that's doing now is just going, okay, I'm going to duplicate what Scott's already done. Okay, now the reason why I'm doing that is I'm now going to work on a black and white version of this photograph, okay? But I like the color version. So I'm going to do a pick, so I'm going to mark it up. I put it within the software, I can put little tags to it. And I always tag my color images with a 1 star, okay? Because then I can easily filter them. Now, I'm now flicked over. It's exactly the same image. The software has done all the hard work and duplicated it for me, okay? Slowing down a little bit. Now I'm going to go black and white on this one. Now, up until very, very recently, all I would literally do is go here. Okay, it's got a little built-in filter thing here, and you can just go, okay, let's go black and white on that one. Okay, and then I would work on the image. Again, you see how the image is suddenly different. Now, very important. All right, let me tell you, this is very important. Let me go to main screen. Very, very important, okay? And it's my biggest pet hate, okay? To me, black and white images are contrasty, deep blacks and white, okay? They got punch to them, yeah? That, for me, okay, this is me. I know it's just me, you know, don't shout at me, but I love black, really contrasty images when they're black and white. I want some meat in them. I want them dramatic. I want them shouting at you like that song was that I played at the beginning of this, yeah? I don't want to see, personally, wishy-washy images where you've got just grey smudge going across it. A black and white image is not like that for me. That's me personally, okay? Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, so it's given me a start of what I want, but I'm going to work on this because this to me is a very grey, dull, wishy-washy black and white image. It's not got any punch to it at all, and I don't like it. So I'm going to try and improve it and see whether it works. Colour in a black and white image is almost like working on two. For example, an analogy here is like working on two totally different pictures or paintings. Okay, it's the same scene, but it is totally different. It is. That's how I look at it. Look at the difference, all right? Colour image, almost done. All right, I was quick with it, but almost done with that colour image. Yeah, I'm going back now and I'm thinking, well, I might be able to tweak it a little bit more, but it's not far off what I wanted, okay? Black and white image, you now got to think, I'm not thinking in color mode. I don't want any distraction. I want black and white image. It's a different photograph. You can almost go out and train your eye and say, I'm going to just go out and take black and white images today, because black and white images are so fun and I love them, all right? And they just work. So enough rabbiting on about images. So I'm going to go, I'm putting up the contrast now. You can see I whacked it up, okay? I think we started on about a 9 from the color image. So brand new image. Now I want to get the mood of the city. I want to get some deep, dark contrast in there. Maybe a little bit too much. Nice little tool here for just lightening up the blacks. Do you see this one? Just focuses on the blacks there. Way too much, Scott. You can just go there. See, look, don't want that. That's not a black and white image to me. That's a grey and bleh image, you know? Black and white is black and white. So we can use this just to go here. Bring that down. I'm going to over egg bringing that image in, because again I want some depth in there, I want some feeling in there. I'm just gonna free fall now just for a minute. I'm just gonna play around, okay, and just see what I get out of this. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Such a personal thing. I don't think I would make a very good teacher, because I would be quiet all the time as I disappear into my own little world. So I often listen to music when I'm working. Don't know whether this area here is too blown out for me. I'm not sure. Can't you separately, so Carol's asked, can't you separately darken the grey buildings behind the woman but lighten them? Yeah, so I can bring this over here if I show you now. I think this is what you're probably meaning. So this red now, you said just behind the ladies, didn't you? Let's just cancel that for a second. Boom, gone. Right, I think you said here. So that red mark now is where I can work on that, just that. So I'll push it up too much. Kind of like that haze, that gives you that kind of impression. So it's a good call, Carol. I like that. That little bit of haze coming through there. So I'm picking the spots. I'm cautious about here. Let's bring that down a little bit. It's nearly there. I think it's dropping off too much here. Bring the highlights down a little bit. Remember yesterday I was talking about feeling an image? You feel an image when you're taking it. Well, you've got to remember to feel an image when you're processing it. You know, you've got to work on it. You've got to... And the temptation is that you've got a hard drive full of thousands of images that you've got to get done, and you want to put them on Facebook or get them to the client, or you want to, you know, rush, you know, nobody's got any time. You want to get the image up, ready, quick, you know, and I think people forget to work on an image. You know, how long we've been taking to work on this one image. And here's a top tip. If you ever book a photographer, top tip here, okay, one of my biggest bugbears, I've got some cracking clients, okay, at the moment, and none of this is aimed at you because they respect what I do and they give me the time that, and freedom to do what I want to do, which is brilliant. But in the past, I've had clients and they expect stuff so quickly that, and they don't understand that you're not churning out an image and just throwing it up on the internet. You've got to work on the image and you've got to create it. So, you know, you'll go out and do a photo shoot and you'll be there for half a day or whatever, and then they're like an hour later, oh, we haven't got any pictures. It's like, well, give me a chance. I've got to download them yet, and then I've got to get them looking absolutely great, because funnily enough, that's what you've paid me to do. If you didn't want me to do that and you want to do all the work for me, then you know, I would have charged you less and saved myself a load of grief, and you could have done it for them. I've learned over the years that I tell clients this. You know, I tell them that, you know, I ask when they want the pictures and tell them whether it's feasible to get them done in that time, and if not, it's like, well, the further shoot's going to take that day, and then they're going to be with you in 3 days' time or whatever. The black and white building is a gift. Thank you, Carol. So we're there. I still think it's looking a little bit muddy. So what I'm going to do is just put the whites up a little bit. Somewhere about there. Now remember, my screen that I'm looking at, although you're watching Adobe, the Lightroom on there, it will look different on your internet. Your screen's going to be totally different, that kind of stuff. So I've got to match it to how I want to look at it. So I've gone really contrasty on that. I might go back to that and look at it another time before I kind of commit to it, because I'm busy talking at the same time, and go, actually, no, that hasn't worked for me. I've overdone it. I've over-egged it. But I kind of like the contrast on that. I think it kind of works. So that's my second image. Look, 2 images, the colour and the black and white one. Let's go back to see how they're both looking. I don't know why there was a big jump between the 2 of them there. Oh, because I'm zoomed in. Hold on, 2 seconds. Let's fit it to the screen. That would probably help, wouldn't it, huh? Look at Mr. doesn't know what he's talking about. So colour, image. Okay, which ones do you prefer? Who's still with me? Longest YouTube live ever. Colour, image, black and white image. To me, I think the black and white image, but I think I'm biased. I think I like them. And the other work you have in the lights. Thank you. Yeah, pleased with that. Now, one last thing to finish it off before I go. There is another nice little tool, so you can get presets now, which are quite nice. I've only kind of been experimenting with them recently, today actually, but I've downloaded a load before. Let's just duplicate this image again for me. Let's just go up here and create another virtual copy of it. So there are lots of presets you can get. Let's show you them. Now I must be honest, I can't even remember where I downloaded these from. I think there are a set of free ones. So you've got all these lovely, see the top left hand corner, it shows you what the preset is like. So you've got this lovely set of predefined settings that you can just hit and saves you all the work. And they're nice, they're really nice. I like the images. And you can, it's a starting point if you want to work with them. Black and white. Carol says she likes the black and white one. Yeah, I think I do as well. So let's go. So they have a black and white preset, which is, they call it bold statement. Should we hit it? Should we see what happens? Wow, that's a bit too bold. Let's just do that there. So yeah, mega. I think I prefer mine. But you could, again, you can use that as a starting point if you wanted to. Just lighten it up from there. But I think probably the only thing I would do is probably lighten it up to my end image, which is probably there. Now looking at that, flicking through there, I just wonder whether I've overworked this area here. The beautiful thing in Lightroom is you can reselect areas. So you can reselect that area there and just darken that down a little bit. You see? Like that. So the presets are pretty fun. They had the color one there. Let's go back and just show you what the color one does as well. Virtual copy. Let's go there and let's have a little look at the fun color one. That's quite nice. Kind of like that. Kind of retro-y kind of thing. Again, it probably needs a little bit of work on it. But yeah, good. Right, guys, I think that could be it for a day. Let's go back to me. So there's my end images anyway. That is it. Thank you for watching. Challenge time, just to let you know what's going on for those of you who maybe didn't hear the first bit. The challenge I've set, I thought we could do something fun for the weekend. Starting from now, literally 7 o'clock, this is going to finish and we're going to do a challenge. I'm late. Hello, Nelly. How you doing? Welcome. Thanks for joining me. So the challenge is for the. Have I got a little bit of moustache wax on there? I think I have. Oh, never mind. The challenge, just to brief you on that one, is okay. This weekend, starting from when I finish this live broadcast, is that we are going to have a weekend challenge of photography, art, drawing, painting, whatever medium that you want to use. Okay, I want you to create a photograph, an image, a painting, a drawing, make it out of Lego if you want, make it abstract, I don't care what it is, okay, of something that sums up your weekend, okay. You could be going, yes, lost some detail, interesting seeing the process. Thank you very much, Carol. Carol there, she's a painter, so she could be doing a painting today. It could just be a little sketch or something if you wanted. If you're busy this weekend, I want to see something. If you want to accept the challenge, there's no prize in any sort. It's just a bit of fun, because I think going on from yesterday's chat, it was good to have some inspiration and a reason to do something. So your inspiration is to pick something you're going to be doing this weekend, and I want you to create an image out of it, whatever it is, and share it with me on my Facebook page, please, okay? Or if you haven't, not on Facebook, you can also put it out on Twitter and just tweet, put my username at SRPix on there, okay? So it should be really fun. You've got until now, until I do my next broadcast. Well, no, I'm going to hopefully do one Saturday. So I'll hopefully be doing a live YouTube live about this time on Sunday, between 6 and 7 on Sunday. Yeah, that would be good, about that kind of time. Anyway, so there's your challenge. Go and do it and share it with me, and I will critique the images afterwards, and it'll just be a nice thing for everybody to do. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. I might be scoping live on Saturday on Periscope, so you can come and join me then. And have a good rest of the Friday. And I'm off to get a nice cup of tea and a slice of cake, or maybe some dinner. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and see you all again soon. Bye from me. See you later. Bye.